Hey y'all! And welcome to the Sorry Not Sorry Generation podcast, where we bring you a not-so-healthy dose of humor and reality as we get our hands dirty with some serious nostalgia and question everything.
Let's dive in.
Hey y'all! It's Misty.
It's Ani.
And today, we are watching a cultural icon, a movie that has defined memes for like 2 decades at this point, because we're old people and it came out in 2001. But the top tier movie, the movie that has created like some of your favorite memes, but also really disturbing smut books. If you don't know what we're
before
talking...
you get into the smut, it is the movie that shaped an entire generation.
It did, and from it has spawned a musical, several sequels, weird smut books, and an entire area of pop culture you just didn't want to know about. That's right, people. We are talking about Shrek. In case you couldn't tell by the title of this episode, we're watching Shrek. And it is possibly, not even possibly, it just is. It is one of the greatest movies of all time. I could watch this movie on repeat, 0 questions.
I actually haven't seen Shrek in a very long time.
Oh, that's a millennial sin.
I know, and I remember seeing it in theaters too. And we were sitting at the very, very front row on like the very right corner. Because this was back before, when you got tickets to the movies, you got to choose your seat. This was a first come, first serve. You choose your own fucking seats.
Yeah.
So we got there late, and we sat all the way in the front row. So I'm like this. Just like my head cocked all the way to the back to the side. And I'm like, ow. My eyes, my neck.
I don't recall how I saw Shrek the first time. I know I saw it as a child, but I don't remember how I saw it. I don't remember if we saw it in theaters. I don't remember if we just had the movie at some point. Like, I think I have had it on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I feel like that makes sense, but also at the same time, I can't picture the VHS. So, I don't know. I know I've seen this movie many, many times. I've seen the sequel at least as many times.
I have seen it less than I've seen the first one, so.
And the other sequels, like, I think there's 4? There's 3 or 4.
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of, like, Puss in Boots movies I haven't seen.
Movies are very good. Now, I've seen the Puss in Boots movie, the first one, so many times. It's one of my favorite movies, because Puss in Boots is one of my favorite characters, and I adore the first Shrek movie. But one of the reasons I like the second Shrek movie so much, besides the music, which is just damn good, it's because Puss in Boots is in it.
Okay.
And the actual Puss in Boots movie I've seen a lot. So I've seen all of these movies quite a few times. The last Shrek movie, or the last 2 Shrek movies, I don't remember how many. I think there are 4 Shrek movies, maybe 5. I don't really know. But the later ones, once he has kids, not so much. So like I haven't really seen those as much. But the first 2 I've seen quite a bit, and then I've seen Puss in Boots quite a bit too. So we did go see. I believe we went to go see Puss in Boots in theaters, and we did go see The Last Wish, Puss in Boots and The Last Wish in theaters too. So I do know that.
I remember you went to the latest.
Yeah, we did go see that one. That was really good. So I don't recall seeing the Shrek movies in theaters, but I feel like I'd almost have had to have seen them in theaters. Because like when they were coming out, they weren't streaming service.
No.
So I almost had to have seen them in theaters. So I don't recall it, but I assume so. I do know I saw Puss in Boots 1 in theaters.
I remember, I have this vivid memory of going to one of the movie theaters to see George of the Jungle, and like that movie theater got demolished years ago.
Yeah.
And like I can't remember where it was.
Yeah.
But I know the general area of where it was.
Yeah.
I remember going to that theater and like being like, that's the cool theater, because like not only is it like further out, but like it wasn't a Pacific Theaters.
Yeah.
It might have been an AMC or like something else during that time. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, AMC was like the cool theater at the time, so. But yeah. Yeah, I don't have vivid memories from seeing a lot of movies in theaters. I have a vivid memory of seeing Lord of the Rings for the very first time because the theater next to us caught on fire.
Not what I was expecting to hear.
Yeah,
Also,
so we went,
not surprised.
we went. I mean, this was in Las Vegas. So my mom and I went to go see Lord of the Rings. This is back when we were living in Vegas. We didn't know anything about it. To be fair, like I was very young when it came out. And so like I didn't know there were books. I definitely had read the books at the time. Like I said, I was pretty young when the first Lord of the Rings movie came out. My mom hadn't read any of it, and neither of us knew what it was. It just seemed like a really cool movie. So we went to go see it, her and I, in the theater. And like halfway through the movie theater, the screen just goes dark. And we're all just sitting in, like, for a moment you think it's a scene change, and then it just stayed dark. And then after, like, a minute, the lights came on, and they're like, yeah, we're going to have to ask you to evacuate. It's just like, okay. So I remember we went into the lobby, and there was a guy standing there with a huge crowd of people all trying to get their money back. And my mom said, let's just keep walking. She's like, I don't know. I said, you don't want your money back? And she's like, nope. She's like, I don't know what's going on, but we don't need to be here if that's what's going on. So we left, and I remember going home to, at the time, my stepdad, Keith, and he's just like, oh, that was a short movie. And she's just like, no, it wasn't. And we went to go see it again. We went to go try to see it again. And the thing about the first Lord of the Rings movie is when it ends, it just kind of cuts off. Like Sam and Frodo get to like this plateau area, and they're like looking at something, and then it just goes to black.
Huh?
And then after a moment the credits start playing. Well, okay, but so it happened, and like the screen went black, and like there wasn't like a resolution, and we didn't realize it was a trilogy. And my mom and I were just like, has it happened again? Like, we're not coming back to see this movie for a third time. And it's just like, and then the credits started to roll, and then like her and I were leaving like, well, that was weird. Like, is there more to that? Like, what happened? Like, because there was no announcement of like the second one that I was aware of, or she was aware of. And then she later found out that it was supposed to be a 3-part movie, and the next one would be out next year. And I'm like, oh, because at the time, like, that wasn't really a thing movies did, like in parts.
Yeah.
And so, and to be fair, no other movie would come in parts like that, I think, until
Harry Potter.
Yeah, because I think Breaking Dawn Part 2 came first, and then Movie World.
But that's what you meant.
Part 1 and 2, and I remember thinking that was shocking because movies didn't do that. So, like, there was most movies were like they completed a story at the end of even if there is a sequel, like the story was complete, and then you had a new story. So I do remember that, and I remember thinking, well, this is different. And then you had to wait a year for the next one to come out. Then you had to wait another year for the third one to come out. So I do remember that. I have a very vivid memory of that, sitting in the theater looking at Frodo and Sam and the screen going dark, thinking shit, or at least like the little kid equivalent of shit. It's just like, no.
I remember going with Jessica to see the second Lord of the Rings.
Mm.
And I hadn't seen the first one. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I fell asleep.
Oh, during the second one of all movies. I can understand it'd be the first one or the third one.
No, it was the second one, because I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And I remember Jessica being like, the fuck? You fell asleep? I'm like,
It's like that half the movie's a war.
Oops.
I mean,
and then I watched them years later, and I'm like, yes, this makes more sense.
The first Twilight movie my Lynn ever saw was the second one, was New Moon. And she hadn't read them at that point. And her friends wanted to go, and she had gone to go see New Moon. And she's like, I have no idea what's happening. And like, she's like, it didn't make any sense. It was bad. And we're like, well, you didn't read the books or see the first movie. And I lent her my books after that. And like, she read them. She took the covers off though and put a different cover on because her parents weren't gonna let her read it. So
one of those. Yes.
Yeah. So that's how she read Twilight. She borrowed them from me, but with different covers. And I can say that I have seen Stephenie Meyer in person. I went to one of her. She showed up at my high school. So
Oh.
there was supposed to be a book signing event, except for it was for the host. And what they didn't tell you is to get your book signed, you needed a copy of the host.
Oh.
And nobody bothered to tell you that. So,
Of course they didn't.
in fact, they didn't even really tell us it was supposed to be about the host. It was like there was a lot of advertisement for the Twilight books for it. And it's just like, cool. So I do remember that because I wanted to get my book signed and I couldn't get my book signed because I didn't fucking have the host. It was just like, which to this day, I think sits at some of the top 10 worst books I've ever read is The Host. That is up there somewhere. I don't know where it sits anymore after like Isolde and some of these other books, but it is in the top 10 and will always be in the top 10 of one of the worst books I've ever read. So
I did not care for The Host. I was the entire time I'm going, this is just one annoying decision or failure to make a decision the entire fucking time.
Well, and like the thing about it is like the Twilight books are not literary good books, but this is like it's written by an entirely different person who has forgotten how books work, and it's just our plots or and like look, you might not like the characters or the characterizations of the people in Twilight, and they might be terrible people, but they are people. The chick in The Host was just a monologue again and again of stupid decision, and just like it is worse than Twilight. It is much worse than Twilight, but in all like in Twilight, you know, when we first read it, we enjoyed, and then you get to The Host, and you're just like, is this the same author? This is the same author? Are you sure?
Yeah. When I read it, I'm like, did she actually write this? I'm like, oh,
yeah, it was so different that I was just like, this is real different. It's real different. Like, okay. But moving on. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are watching the cultural icon, the true meme lord of our generation, Shrek 1.
The OG.
Is DreamWorks owned by someone now, or is it still standalone? Does it still exist? I know the company that did Ice Age went under. Is that these guys?
No.
How have I never noticed that the DreamWorks changed the S at the beginning of their title and they made it Shrekified? I have never seen that before. That's something they did specifically for the streaming service. I have never seen that.
DreamWorks, I believe, is owned by Universal.
True Love's First Kiss on it.
And that page specifically was used as toilet paper.
The music from this movie is so good. Funny thing is this movie and this song, obviously they came out in 2001, which is the same year that the Battle of Hogwarts happened. And I believe this song came out only a few days after the Battle of Hogwarts. So there are quite a few Hogwarts students who never lived to hear Smash Mouth All-Star.
That's interesting.
Huh? You can thank the internet for that one.
Yeah.
So I understand that like Shrek lives in a swamp and everything like that, but I will never ever want to picture this as fantasy Florida. and that book by G.M. Ferry can go fuck itself for making me think that. Like, you have to give Shrek credit. He's pretty happy with his life just as it is by himself. He has hobbies. He takes care of himself. He cooks his own meals. He paints. Like, you know, like he's got a full
his own food, yeah.
life, okay? Like, he's rocking it as a single dude. He makes his own food. He makes his own candles, even if it's a little disgusting, you know?
Out of his ears.
He made his own house and everything like that. He makes all of his own stuff.
And I always forget that John Lithgow is in this movie, and I love that man.
Like, you know, you gotta kind of give it to Shrek. He's got his shit together.
He just wants to be left alone. He is us now.
Yeah. Like, and he's rocking it in his single life, and he's got all these hobbies and shit like that he does.
And, like, the CGI, or, like, has really stood the test of time in this.
Yeah. It still looks as good as it did the first time I watched it.
It's quite good on toast.
And, like, the thing about these villagers that have come to, like, kill Shrek, he didn't do fucking anything to you. He's just chilling in his own home, doing his own thing, and you fucking show up at his house and just be an asshole. Like, he should eat you.
Like, he stops screaming and they keep going.
And, like, he doesn't actually hurt anybody. Like, he's just, like, he lets them leave. He scares them and lets them run away.
Wanted fairy tale creatures. Who's trying to, hunt the fairy tale creatures and why?
Just, like, I don't think they ever talked about why Farquaad wanted the fairy tale creatures locked up. Did he?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Oh, there's Pinocchio. There's Donkey. There was a witch.
There's 3 little bears.
Oh, the 3 little bears. There's Tinkerbell behind them.
And that's Peter Pan holding Tinkerbell.
Yeah. Geppetto with Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
5 shillings for the possessed toy.
And Pinocchio even says, "Father, please." And Donkey immediately is clever enough to realize, like, if I don't fucking say anything, she can't prove shit.
Is that Jim Cummings?
Yeah, it might be.
It sounds like him.
Yeah. Oh, the old lady hit Tinkerbell, and now Donkey can fly.
And the 3 little pigs. And he can talk!
I'm a flying, talking donkey. Donkey fly.
Oh.
Tinkerbell's magic didn't last very long. Run, donkey! Run! So, do we think Donkey is supposed to be the donkey from, like, Pin the Tail on the Donkey? Or is he just, like, a random talk? Like, everybody else kind of comes from a myth of some sort. But Donkey's just a donkey that can talk.
I have no clue.
Did you ever see the theory where Donkey was one of the kids from that island went to? Where the kids slowly got turned into donkeys? Was it Pinocchio?
Oh, in Pleasure Town.
Yeah. And then, like, the kids slowly got turned into donkeys for misbehaving. And, like, the one of the theories was that Donkey was one of those kids.
Poor Donkey. That's not a fate I wish on anybody.
Oh, shit.
Donkey's gone? Oh.
Shrek's like, okay, Donkey, yes, I accidentally saved you. Please leave me
go
alone.
away. Please leave.
Be me in the social situation if somebody just came up and talked to me like, what is happening? Please stop.
Shrek just fucking the donkey, and he's like, wow, real nice.
It's just like, yeah, you're right, you are very scary, that's cool. And Shrek's almost appalled. He's just like, what is happening to me right now?
Why are you following me? Why are you near me?
What is this social interaction that's happening? And Donkey just immediately breaks into song.
Is this how you felt when I was around in the beginning?
I mean, Donkey hasn't said anything extraordinarily explicit, so, like, no.
But just me constantly be like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, you want to hang out? Hi.
She's like, hello. And I'm just like, I think I was, like, Shrek is angry. I was more bewildered, I would say. I was more confused and bewildered and...
Like, why is this strange person talking to me?
Donkey's like, Shrek?
What kind of name is Shrek?
What kind of word is that? And Shrek's like, yeah, no, I live there. Thank you for the plethora of insults, Donkey. I like that boulder. That's a nice boulder.
It's not a boulder, it's rock. I like my privacy.
Like, I think if you and I hadn't met when we did, and I would just slowly became a hermit or whatever, like, I would become Shrek. And then, like, something would happen and some weird mythical event would put us together. And, like, then the movie would play out.
Fair.
Donkey's like, you don't know what it's like to be considered a freak. And then he immediately backtracks. Like, well, maybe. Shrek, you let somebody stay for a night and you don't even let them indoors? Like, that's a little shit. But I love when Donkey pops up on the chair and he just goes in a circle like a cat first. That's
I know,
really
right?
cute. I want to know where Donkey lived. Like, did he have a house? Did he have a place? How does Donkey get furniture? Like, we don't really see, we see Shrek and Fiona and those like eat and have meals and stuff like that, but we don't see Donkey really eat.
That's true.
Like he only like grazes grass once, and that's when I think he's just fed up with everything and just has nothing better to do. But like, does he not get home cooked meals or anything? Like, look how much effort Shrek put into making his dinner, and it looks really nice. He's got flowers on his table. He made himself a cocktail. Like, the Shrek is living it.
And he pulled earwax out of his ears, and
He made his
turned
own
it into a
candle. Like, his place does look a little drafty, though. I will say, like a lot of that wood is not close enough together. There's no curtains on the windows or anything. Oh, somebody's breaking into Shrek's place.
Ha 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 ha. Good luck with that.
I will say, I never noticed that the bedroom is up a platform, and I caught it out of the background.
Huh.
See,
oh,
like
it's the three blind mice.
There. His bed is up on a platform behind that curtain. And like, I've never noticed that before.
Sleeping Beauty?
On my table, you ruined my nice dinner and my cocktail and my new candle.
The bed's taken by? Oh, the wolf.
Well, he has a puffer fish for a lamp.
Like, everyone has just now come into Shrek's swamp.
They've set up tents, a giant shoe. There's a
landing strip for the witches.
Yeah. Rats. A lot of rats. I'm afraid I'd have to tell the Pied Piper he needs to stop that shit. Like, they all started setting up around... They all started setting up around this house, and nobody bothered to knock first. Like, you could knock and see at least who lives there.
Pinocchio's like, we were forced to come here. No one invited us.
He huffed and he puffed and he signed an eviction notice.
Donkey knows. Does anyone else?
It's interesting how much Donkey does know. You know, like, he knows how to get to, like, where Lord Farquaad lives, and he knows about Lord Farquaad and stuff like that. Like, I need a Donkey movie to tell me more about Donkey's life pre-Shrek.
And post.
That's true.
He made love to a dragon and had donkey dragon babies.
That's true, too. They give Shrek a cape made out of flowers.
He's like, I'm gonna go find this Lord Farquaad guy and get all of you back to wherever the fuck you came from and get off my swamp.
Just like, I am not a hero. I am just antisocial.
I can't with Donkey and the constant jibber jabbering. What milk?
Do you remember how shocked you were the first time you saw how short Lord Farquaad was? It was just so not what I was expecting, and it's just like, what?
The gingerbread man.
Getting dunked in milk is his form of torture.
That would be the...
And he's missing the legs.
There's John Lithgow.
Farquaad walks up to the table, and it just comes to eye level with him, and he's just like, hello.
Monster.
So, the F of Farquaad, which is lowercase, which I imagine is a play on the fact that he's short, is Facebook logo / font, and that is what I've always thought looking at it. The Mother Man! Like, it just looks like the F just in, like, the banner. It's Facebook blue. Like, to be fair, it looks like the Facebook logo.
I have to see it again. We have a magic mirror.
And a bunch of torture devices. You notice, like, the executioner, like, you can't see anything below there, but what looks like skin is, like, green, like Shrek's. What if the executioner is actually an ogre? Or, like, a half ogre?
Who's the voice of the mirror?
I don't know. Let's meet today's eligible bachelorettes.
Starting at number 1. Mentally abused, shut in from a kingdom far, far away. Cinderella, cleaning.
And we actually see her in the 3rd movie, I believe.
Number 2 is a cape-wearing girl. It's
Number
Snow
2,
White.
you already banned and is currently in Shrek's swamp.
She lives with 6 other men. Or 7, sorry. 7 other men. Number 3 is surrounded by a bunch of lava and dragons.
Just like, you know. Also, it says, the mirror says she likes pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. How would she know if she's been locked in a tower since she was like 10?
Because she likes pina coladas and getting caught in the rain.
Where is she getting pina coladas
It's
from?
a song.
I know it's a song, but it implies that Fiona has done this despite the fact that she's been in a tower.
Her whole life, yeah.
Where is she getting a radio?
Farquaad, you're creepy. It's like the mirror tried to warn you something happens after sunset, and you didn't listen.
They're having a tournament. You are parked in Lancelot parking lot.
Is Charming in this one or the second one?
No, he's in the second one.
Okay.
Different kingdom. So Shrek didn't know where to find Farquaad, but he knows that Farquaad is short. Because he's like...
I'm guessing I think he just took one look at the fortress thingy and went, oh, he's got a little dick. He's small. And this idiot who is just fucking walking through the queue, who's got a Farquaad mask on. Like
knocks himself out anyway. And Shrek and Donkey just look at each other like, okay.
Donkey gets caught in a turnstile. But Shrek walks through a turnstile the way I do. Sideways.
Yeah. Elevator music playing throughout the town. That's weird.
Why do you need turnstiles to get into the town?
I don't know. But everything is blue. I like how there's an information booth. See, look at that F and tell me that doesn't look like the fucking Facebook logo.
It does. I forgot about this song.
Like, the town has turnstiles to get into it and then has an information booth done by puppets. Like, one of Duloc's laws is that you have to wipe your ass. Like, what happened that they needed to put this into law?
Welcome to Duloc, the brightest in all the land.
Today you shall prove yourselves. Oh, the kingdom of Facebook. And he's just like, I'm going to send one of you to fight a dragon. And that's after you fight each other. And you know what? If you don't make it, that's fine. There'll be a runner-up.
Right. Some of you may die, but it is a sacrifice that I am willing to make. Yes.
Just
as
like,
your king. As your king, I'm very ready to make this sacrifice.
I don't mind if some of you die. It's fine.
What is that?
But Farquaad is like, that's hideous. And Shrek immediately was like, that's not very nice. It's just a donkey. And like, he immediately just does not assume anybody's talking about him. It's just like, no, you can't be talking about me.
And now Farquaad's like, if whoever kills the ogre gets to win the tournament.
And I think they like that idea. The knights do a lot better than fighting each other, possibly to the death. And that's a lot of ale. I don't give a damn about my reputation. And I like how Donkey immediately helps out, but I would like to know how he got on top of the barrels with no opposable thumbs. Like, how did you climb up there, Donkey?
I mean, goats don't have opposable thumbs, and they're like the number one climbers, so...
I mean, it's true, but I'm just wondering what Donkey hopped up on. Also, like, Shrek is in, like, what is a wrestling ring, basically. But before that, there were horses in the wrestling ring. And I want to know what sport was happening before Shrek got there. When the horses are in a wrestling ring. And I mean, the crowd's loving it. That would
now
be
everyone's like, give him a chair!
Yeah, that would be the both of us. Give him a chair! Shrek is just loving it. Like, he's just living it up. He's having no issues. He's just talking people around.
And the whole crowd is like, yeah, the ogre!
Like, whoa! And Farquaad's like, no, you're too popular now.
I just realized that every time we would go to Disney and my one friend would scream out something to the people at Blue Bayou while we're going through Pirates, is a line from this, and I never put two and two together until just now.
What's the line?
So, Shrek went, try the veal.
Huh?
My friend would always yell, how's the veal? Or try the veal. Maybe I'm thinking of everyone, but maybe, like, or he said try the veal. I don't remember, but he would always say that at Blue Bayou, and I'm just like, why? Now I know, it's Shrek.
There you go. For the longest time, because, like, when Shrek started talking to Farquaad, they're making a deal, right? And it's just like to get all of the squad out of his swamp. And when Shrek says the word and the squatters, for the longest time until I saw it with closed captionings on for the first time, I thought he said and its waters, as like asking that its waters be returned to how they were supposed to be because it's swampy.
Yeah.
And so it just made perfect sense to me. And I'm like, yes, he wants his, like, the mossiness and, like, everything else. And he wants the waters of the swamp back. And, like, it just made sense to me. And, like, I never challenged it. Also, isn't it a little weird that literally directly outside of the parking lot for, like, Farquaad's mansion or castle is just miles and miles and miles of farmland? And, like, it just seems so out of place, though, just in the way the world looks. Like, there was forest and everything everywhere, but no, there's absolutely nothing in any direction but sunflowers. Like, I know, like, outside of castles and stuff like that, they would have the farmlands and everything, but it just looks so different than everything else in the world. It's just kind of odd. I guess maybe they did that so they didn't have to animate, like, deep background.
Oh,
if maybe. They were in fields or something like that.
But then again, I don't think any part of Duloc is supposed to make sense.
Fair enough. Donkey argues that, like, everybody likes parfaits, and I'm like, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not a parfait person. Sorry, Donkey.
You are being dense and annoying. Go away.
And now Donkey's just going to argue that parfaits are just the most delicious thing on the planet.
Like, I'm surprised Shrek hasn't, like, thrown him across the, like, world yet.
Well, to be fair, we don't see Shrek actually do anything mean. Like, genuinely mean.
Other than just be like shut up.
Yeah, he's grumpy, and, like, he fights, but only when people attack him first. Like, overall, like, he's pretty chill.
It's true.
Donkey pees on the fire to put it out.
Donkey, everyone. He being Donkey. After Shrek burns his foot on tamping out the fire.
This line that's coming up. Right.
That one?
My mouth was open and everything is a line for some reason. Like, for 1,000 different things my mom and I have used. And it's just like, my mouth was open and everything. Just, I don't know why. I like how they were just bantering and talking, and then they get over the edge of this cliff, and then they just see the fucking
volcano
and lava and the rickety ass bridge and the worst looking castle, and they're both just looking at each other like, is this worth it? Is this really, really worth it?
Shrek's just like, oh my god, I love it here. Like, it smells like ass. No one will ever come here. It's perfect. Right?
Shrek should have moved in here. And, like, Shrek kind of, like, banters with Donkey a lot here and kind of, like, forces Donkey, like, across the bridge. But he does all of it to keep Donkey's attention off of the lava and, like, actually help him across. Like, Shrek is not a bad person.
No, he's not.
I would, however, be terrified to cross the rickety bridge if I didn't have hands to hold on to anything. Like, if you told me to cross the bridge on all fours, I would be like, no. And Shrek is, like, Donkey's trying to get off the bridge, and Shrek's just like, you're halfway already. Like, let's just go. And he's like, nope. So, like, Shrek, like, forces Donkey across by distracting him.
And how does he force him? He jumps on the rickety bridge. And now he's tilting it.
It's like he shakes the rickety bridge. I would be terrified if I couldn't hold on to the edges. Like, Donkey could easily slip right past those ropes and fall into the lava.
And he got him right across where he wanted him.
Oh, that'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. Yes, the dragon that you will be mating later. Okay, Fiona's supposed to be locked up in here, right?
Yeah.
Where's the food? Where's the bathroom?
Yeah. Well, there was one theory that at some point when you're running, like when Shrek is running through here, he runs by this giant ass cookbook, and it's a recipe for like cooking humans, basically, in like this giant ass cookbook. And somebody theorized that when the dragon kills the people at night, when Fiona is an ogre, she eats the people.
That's fair. Ogres eat people, yeah.
Yeah. And like that would explain her weird and different eating habits that she has when her and Shrek walk back towards Duloc and she's willing to eat all this weird stuff. It's because she's been eating people.
Fair. Donkey's like, I will find the stairs. You can find the dragon. Have fun.
I would absolutely not split up at this point.
No.
And also, Donkey, could you be making more noise? You're talking and talking and talking and talking, and it's just like, I'd be so...
And clickety-clacking.
So paranoid. I'd be looking left, right, up, down. Be like, mm-mm.
Oh, we found the dragon.
Yep.
Look at her. She's so pretty.
Huh. And Donkey's like, holy fuck, dragon, dragon, dragon. And like the dragon walks right past Shrek. It just keeps going for Donkey.
Shrek's got the tail.
Yeah, Shrek just goes and grabs it by the tail. It's just like,
whoop. And he gets flung to Fiona's room. Perfect. That was easy. Why does it want Donkey so bad? Like, that's gonna be not even a snack.
Yeah.
That's like a potato chip.
And Donkey immediately falls into, like, complimenting the dragon. Like, oh, yeah,
I'm hitting on you.
Amazing. It's like, is that a hint of minty freshness in your giant, giant, giant teeth? And Donkey's like, oh,
you're a girl dragon.
Girl dragon. Okay. And, like, she's over there, like, blinking and, like, flirting with him and all that. And gives him a little heart made of smoke. And Donkey's like, okay, I don't know about all that. She's like, I don't know about all of that.
And she just takes him. She's like, nope, you want mine now.
Nope, just picks him up by the tail.
My donkey now.
Mm-hmm. So there are no other doors in this room Fiona's in. There's no nothing. Like, she has fresh flowers, though. Don't know where she gets those.
She knows she's an ogre, right?
Huh.
Okay.
I like how, like, she's just expecting, like, true love's kiss immediately.
And Shrek like, just grabs her by the shoulders and is like, wake up!
Practically breaks her neck, shaking her.
There shouldn't be a romantic meeting, Sir Knight. He's like, no time, gotta go, let's go.
And Shrek, like, tries to go out the door, but immediately breaks the door handle. And look, the door is barred from the outside. So how is Fiona surviving in this room?
She's like saying all these things that she's like, don't you want to do this or that? And he's like, you've had a lot of time to plan this, haven't you?
She's like, a couple, like at least a decade, maybe more. How old do you think Fiona is? She always struck me as like 30.
I want to say at least, how? 30?
30? Yeah. She always struck me as older.
That's fair.
I know she's probably supposed to be like
18
20 or something.
Oh, 20?
Yeah, 18, 20. Something like that.
I would say new adult.
Yeah. But there's just, like, so much attitude. But also, I don't know. It's something about the shape of her face or whatever. It just strikes me as, like, anywhere between 27 and, like, 30, maybe? Look at all that gold.
Her hoard.
And the dragon purrs. That's cute.
Oh, romantic meeting ensuing.
Just, like, a little bit of a, like, look. Donkey's trying so hard to talk himself out of this.
That's my tail. Don't do that.
It's my personal tail. You gonna tear it off.
Oh! Shrek gets a kiss on the ass by a dragon.
And the dragon put on lipstick between the moment she took Donkey and this moment. It's cute.
She has a collar now.
Where did she buy her dragon lipstick?
The blood of her enemies.
Fair enough.
It's like, oh, the donkey talks. Yeah, trying to get him to shut up, though, is the problem. There's no off button. Ow. Oh,
like,
that must
I'd like to know whose castle this was. Like, is this Erebor? Is this what happened? Like, before the dwarves reclaimed Erebor and Smaug? Like, is this Smaug's mother or something?
Just how long is this fucking chain for the chandelier?
No shit. And, like, I know the idea is that it holds taut, but wouldn't it just come off the chain? Like the spool?
That
but
too.
Then he puts the sword through the chain, and, like, that is not nearly strong enough to hold an entire dragon.
Also, like, you pull hard enough, and I'm sure you can get the the chains or whatever out of the floor.
Yeah.
Like
that sword is immediately going to come up out of the ground, and I don't understand how it doesn't just snap in half.
So, to be fair, at least it does break.
Yeah. The sword does break, the chains go up and, like, get thrown against a pillar. So, like, I can't imagine it stays put for very long, though. Oh, I know she's sad. Like, who is supplying Fiona with the new clothes and the food, the books?
Donkey's the noble steed.
Of course he's a noble steed. You may remove your helmet, good Sir Knight.
No.
Like, no.
I have helmet hair. I really don't want to.
What was Shrek's plan? Just to go all the way back to Duloc with the helmet on?
And say, kiss you? I'm supposed to kiss you?
And Shrek is just like, is Shrek being sexually harassed right now?
Donkey was being sexually harassed by the dragon.
That's true. That's very true. Like, this fanciful notion of what true love and true love's first kiss should be is the only reason I would agree that Fiona is, like, in her very early 20s. That's a very, like, early 20s, like, teenage sentiment and naivete.
But, like, also, if you've been secluded long enough,
that's fair.
With all that's all you've been told, and you've been stuck in this fucking tower.
Well, as we see in the second movie, like, her dad, like, just kind of told her, like, she would marry, like, Prince Charming one day.
Oh, yeah.
And so she wrote all over her diary, like, Mrs. Fiona Charming everywhere.
We all did that.
That's valid.
Huh?
Valid. Very valid. So, but, like, she does give me the vibe, though, of somebody who's, like, in her late 20s, early 30s. Just mostly from her appearance and a lot of her mannerisms, you know?
Yeah. Were you expecting Prince Charming? Actually, yeah.
A little bit. Mm-hmm. Just kind of what I've been told my entire life was going to happen, so, you know.
He's like, listen, Farquaad wants to marry you. And then, of course, the woman goes, then why didn't he do it himself? Because he's a man. And Shrek's
just like, that's a good question. You can fucking ask him when we get there.
You're gonna stand on the outside of the volcano without any food or water.
And Shrek is like, I'm nobody's messenger boy. I'm a delivery boy. And then proceeds to pick her up like a sack of potatoes.
She weighs nearly nothing compared to him.
Honestly, he could probably just hold her out, like, with one hand and be like, there you go. And then Donkey proceeds to spend the rest of the afternoon getting romance advice from the princess. That would be such an uncomfortable way to have to spend any amount of time, is slung over somebody's shoulder like that. Like, that would hurt pretty fast.
Men of Farquaad stature are in short supply. Aha! Aha!
There are those who think little of him.
Aha! Great ruler, huh? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can't measure up to a great ruler like Lord Farquaad.
All 4 feet of him.
And, like, Fiona's trying to come up with a reason for them to make camp. And she's just like, there's robbers and stuff in the woods. And when she can't get Shrek to agree, she just resorts to screaming. She's just like, we're making camp right fucking now, man. I like how Donkey's like, Shrek, we can do better than this, like, rock cave. And then, like, where are you going to do better than that? Where are you going to do better than that in the middle of the woods, Donkey?
She just pulled the bark off this tree, and it's like, I have a door now, and they're just like, what?
In the shape of a door, no less. And Shrek really considers putting just the rock back in front of the door that she makes, and then just leaving.
Like, no, I tried. Mm-mm.
So there's definitely ogre lore, because, like, Shrek has all these stories about what the different ogres are and stuff like that. So who did he learn that from? Or did he make them up?
Depends. Like, is he the only ogre in this world?
Oh, then that's kind of the question, too, because we never see another ogre. but he talks about them with like the reverence of like somebody who maybe was taught these stories growing up, and like that's how this is. And then when Donkey tries to like be like, they're just a bunch of little dots, and Shrek's like, no, they're very specific.
I don't
So
know.
Shrek's goal, like once he gets the swamp back, apparently is to build a 10-foot wall around his land.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Yes.
If you won the lottery, is that not what you would do as soon as you bought a house?
True, but the top of my fence would be electrified.
I'm warning you, Donkey.
Who are you trying to keep out? Everyone. And Donkey's just like, then now we've got a therapy session happening here. Yeah.
And he's like, this is not what I signed up for. No one... They don't say stupid, do they? They just say scary.
And Shrek is just kind of like, they all judge me before they get to know me. And like Donkey might be his very first friend. And maybe that's why he's not pushing Donkey away as hard as he normally would with someone, is because like Donkey just doesn't seem phased.
I think Donkey knows how to have friends, and Shrek doesn't.
Yeah.
That's why he's always so grumpy.
I also feel like Donkey's been betrayed a lot, and he keeps this like optimistic attitude to try and cope with the fact that he's betrayed a lot.
Fiona listening in.
Oh yeah. It's really creepy that Farquaad sits in his bed watching videos of Fiona. Like, just... Ugh.
He's got her slippers for her, a crown for her.
He's got a portrait in the works.
Is that a bear as a rug?
Yes, they killed the mama bear, and she is a rug now.
That's... Oh, look how hairy he is.
Did you see that? He takes a drink of his cocktail, he looks at Fiona, and then he looks down at where he's covered with a blanket, and then goes, ooh, and has to pull it up higher. He's watching Fiona, this image of Fiona, and getting a boner. Even the magic mirror just going, please don't make me rewind it. Yeah, like, please don't do this. Don't do this in my presence, please. Imagine what the magic mirror thought when the guards took him and brought him in and faced him at Farquaad's bed. Oh my god. If I was the mirror, I'd just shatter myself. Like, it's not worth it. Fiona is not the princess that can hit those high notes, because that just kills everything. She blew up a bird. And now they have eggs. She ruined a family. Fiona ruined a family for breakfast. And, like, Fiona seems to have good, like, survival skills and stuff like that. And it's just, like, it's so odd and contradictory. Like, she was locked in this room for, like, a decade or two, but yet has lovely social skills and the ability to survive in the wilderness, but yet was raised as a princess until, like, age 10. Also, Rapunzel. She's got some pretty good social skills for someone who was raised in a tower her entire life. And has only ever met one person before. Has never, and like when she meets Flynn, has never actually met a guy before. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Like, I understand maybe she learned some of the social skills if she reads a lot of books. By talking to a chameleon? Yeah, but, like, at least if she read books, she could see, like, how people interact with each other. But, like, if you've never interacted with another person before, like, it would be really weird to understand how it's supposed to work. Oh, Fiona's been kidnapped by Robin Hood. And, ew, he just kisses all the way up her arms. Blah. He's like, that's my princess, go get your own! And Fiona is just not pleased. And Fiona's like, look, dude, I don't know who the hell you think you are. And then he's like, oh, and a perfect chance to break into song. Allow me to introduce us. Like, they have their own stage and it with, like, their own props and everything. Takes a wee percentage. And there's river dancing. I mean, sure. And Robin Hood's like, when, like, a guy, like, touches a woman and she doesn't approve, or, like, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, my dude, did you miss the part where you kidnapped Fiona and then just kissed all of her arm? I think Fiona might kill Robin Hood. I think she just did. She, like, swings in on a vine and kicks Robin in, like, so hard that his head hits a rock at a weird angle. And he's not getting up, like. No. And then she proceeds to just kung fu kick ass the entirety of Robin Hood's, like, band of merry men. She runs up a tree. Like, who taught her the combat skills? And then Shrek's standing there holding Donkey like, excuse me?
And he's like, excuse me, what?
And Shrek is like, the hell did that come from?
It's like, when you live and learn, you have to learn to defend yourself.
Yeah, just like, but Fiona, who taught you that? Like, what
Literally, who taught you?
Training videos were you watching? Like,
how'd you get a video?
And then they've discovered that Shrek has an arrow in his butt.
Blue flower, red thorns.
They've given Donkey a task to have him run out into the woods and look for a blue flower with red thorns.
Easy with the yanking. To clarify, yanking a arrow out of his butt.
And she's like, well, you can't just leave it in your ass, so you gotta do something with the arrow.
If he wasn't colorblind.
And Donkey's like wandering around looking for the flower, and he's like, this would be a lot easier if I'm not colorblind. But yet he does find a blue flower with red thorns. And Donkey comes back at the most inappropriate moment, and he's just looking at them like, okay. You know what? Not even worried anymore.
Not even worried. Nope. Ow.
And then Donkey passes out at the sight of blood.
Come on, Donkey. Gotta do better than that.
And, like, nobody even says anything. They just pick him, just scoop him up, and then they just move on. They're like two parents with their toddler who's passed out at Disney. And, like, they go to cross a river, and Shrek, like, pulls a tree down so they can walk over. Waits till Fiona's across. Donkey's not gotten off, and then just lets go and flings Donkey into the air.
And she just grabs a spider
web
to catch a bunch of
flies, I guess.
And he's gonna eat it.
Yeah, they do eat the cobwebs and all the flies, and that's very gross.
And we just turned a frog into a balloon.
Snake.
And a snake into a balloon.
Yep. It's like they're having a day at the theme park. As they're walking around.
Is the woods.
Uh-huh. Like, they've gotten their balloons, they've gotten their cotton candy, their toddler passed out from, like, overexertion. And, like, they're running around and having a good time. Like,
Donkey's trying to explain to Fiona that, Shrek thinks Lord Farquaad is compensating for something. I think it means that a really small... What? Sorry?
And then Shrek just takes him out and is like, shh, stop. And now Fiona and Shrek are tag teaming Donkey, gaslighting him into believing that he just doesn't feel well, so that they can spend more time together. Donkey's like, I can't feel my toes. Oh no, I don't have any toes.
That's exactly how Jessica felt on our first day at Disney in Florida. She's like, I think I have nerve damage in my feet because I can't feel my feet.
Rotisserie style weed rat. Is that on your list of things you'd like to have, Ani?
No, actually. Weed rat is not on my list of things to try.
Oh, but why not, Ani? You don't want just some field mouse weed rat? See, that's the only time we see Donkey eating, is he's out there grazing in the grass.
Maybe you can come visit me in the swamp sometime.
Like, the thing about it is, like, Fiona wants to break her curse, right? And, like, I know she hasn't met Farquaad yet, but, like, when we get to that point, when she meets him that morning, and she's worried about what's going to happen, like, at sunset and everything like that, I don't understand why she just doesn't kiss Farquaad sooner. Like, why does she have to wait till the wedding? Like, I'm sure he would, like, Farquaad is skeevy enough, he'd love to, like, kiss her beforehand. Like, she could have just kissed him, like, right then and there, if she'd assumed that was her true love. And then when it didn't work, then she would have known and would have saved just a whole wedding scene.
Well, she's falling in love with Shrek, because she's an ogre!
Yeah, but, like, if she wanted to break the curse without having to worry about sunset with Farquaad, she could have just kissed Farquaad when she met him.
Donkey's like, I get it, you're afraid of the dark.
It's really convenient that they keep running into places where she can
hide.
She can hide.
I got instincts, and those instincts say that you like each other.
Huh?
Listen, Donkey, this is the most interaction Shrek has ever had willingly.
And, like, we have no idea about Shrek's dating history, so this might be his first love. And, like, Shrek says he's gonna go get more firewood, despite the fact there's a giant pile of firewood already. But he just kind of goes out and contemplates what to do about the fact that he's delivering this woman that he's falling for to her future husband.
And Donkey's looking for Fiona, which we can't find her yet. Pigeons. Why is she so creepy about it, though? Like,
yeah, like she's just kind of like skulking around, like hiding the fact that she is. Like, why didn't she, instead of like walking all over the place, why didn't she just find a place to hide or something like that?
Donkey's like, what did you do to the princess?
And she's just like, it's me in this body. And he's like, oh, you ate the princess. Oh my God. And she just like has to grab Donkey and be like, no. It's just me. It is just me.
Different.
I want to know
who
cursed her and why. Like, what did her dad or her mom do that like some freaky witch or whatever had to place or like wanted to place a curse on Fiona? Like, do you think that maybe it was something like one of her dad's enemies because he's a king or something? And I wonder what made them decide when to place Fiona in the tower. Like, she was really young, judging by, like, I think the second movie. And she was in there for, like, a really long time. So, like, why didn't her parents send knights themselves? Also, far, far away is really far from where this tower is. So why wouldn't her parents have chosen a closer place and sent their own knights to do it?
There are a lot of questions that just aren't answered.
Yeah. And, like, I can live with all of them, but I would really like Donkey lore. And, like, Donkey's trying to get, like, like, hey, what if Shrek's your true love? Like, he's being a really good wingman at this moment. It's just like, instead of Farquaad, there's, like, a guy who's been hanging out with you. And
here he comes with, like, flowers.
You, and, like, you've been getting along, and he likes you,
The normal stuff.
And Shrek, he has a sunflower, and he goes to, like, knock on the windmill, I think this is. And he overhears the worst, most out of context part of Donkey and Fiona's conversation.
It's the out of context part that kills me. It's like, no, you need to listen to the rest of it.
And it's just like, oh, the miscommunication trope. No. He only hears, like, the one sentence that sounds really bad out of context.
All he hears is ogre and ugly.
He misses everything about magic and curses and horror and everything else, but no.
She finds the sunflower and it's like, but where's everything else?
Yeah, and it's just like, well, where's the person who had it? And I love how Donkey just goes in a circle like a cat before he lays down. Like, that's so cute.
And look at him in the morning. He's on his back. Oh, she's doing the I love him not, but the do I tell him? Do I not tell him?
Unless he saw it and, like, her as an ogre, do you think he would believe her if she just walked up to him and was in, like, hey, I'm cursed, so at night I turn into an ogre? I don't know if I'd believe that. Be like, did you hit your head or something? And, like, she's really excited to see him, and she's going to tell him everything, and he just absolutely dismisses her because he's pissed, because he thinks that she was talking about him. And he went all the way to Duloc in the middle of the night to bring back the knights and Lord Farquaad for Fiona. And now there's a miscommunication, and she thinks that he knows she turns into an ogre and thinks that she's horrid and hideous. And he thinks that she was talking about him and that she thinks he's hideous and horrible. Oh, and here comes Farquaad. Look at, like, the fact that Farquaad has, like, extensions to his boots for his, like, when he's in the saddle. Because he can't reach the little stirrups. He even has ones for his hands. It makes him look so disproportionate. He looks even shorter in all that armor. And Farquaad's like, it's not like it has feelings.
Flawless. I think you're missing one thing.
Yeah. And now Shrek and Fiona are just mad at each other. So they're like, she's saying horrible stuff, and then she accepts Farquaad's marriage proposal. Like, I like how she's like, we have to get married today. We can't wait until tomorrow. And, like, I wonder if she knows that there's no way Farquaad's not going to show up at her room tonight. Like, if she waits. It's just like,
But I mean, like, even if she loved Farquaad, then like she'd stop being an ogre if that was her true love. But sorry,
Yeah.
you're
in love with Shrek, girl. And you know what? There are worse men. There are significantly worse men. There's much worse
Shrek is
men.
at least a good guy.
Yeah. Now, granted, he gets a little shitty in that Ever After movie, the one with Rumpelstiltskin. He does get kind of shitty in that one.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, he does get kind of shitty in that one, just because like he gets so fed up with like being a dad and all the shit that's going on that he just kind of wants it all back to the way it was before. But then he spends the entire movie just trying to get everybody back and getting his wife back. So why does this movie have the best version of every song?
It really
has
does.
such a beautiful version of Hallelujah. And it's the last song I would have picked to be in a movie like this, but it's perfect. And like Donkey is over here and he's like kind of just hanging out at the river and all that, and he's sad, and he turns, and who is there but Dragon? And she's all sad and everything because he's not there. She's still wearing the chandelier around her neck, though. And Fiona and Shrek are both so sad.
Aww.
And Shrek's at home, and then he's just kind of there, and then he comes outside, and Donkey's building a wall.
Donkey's building a wall.
In the middle of Shrek's swamp.
Your half? When did you get a half?
It's like, when did you get half of the swamp? And Donkey's just kind of like, I did half the rescuing, I get half the land.
Stubborn jackass.
And Donkey's like, you know what? You're gonna shut up and pay attention. You're mean to me. You're rude. Pushing me around.
You're selfish.
And you treat me really poorly. And so Shrek's like, well, why'd you come back? And it's like, because we're friends. That's why.
I forgive you for stabbing me in the back.
Like, you're so wrapped up in layers, onion boy. You don't see what's in front of you.
I love how they're arguing while Shrek is in the bathroom.
Uh-huh. And Shrek's slowly starting to realize, like, what do you mean she wasn't talking about me? But Donkey is a great friend and does not give her secret away.
He is. He's a good guy. Mm-hmm. He is not, however, in the book.
That's valid.
The GM Fairy book. He is the opposite of nice.
Yeah. They really did take Donkey's character and just ruin it. And Shrek is actually super respectful, and he's just like, will you please forgive me? And he's immediately doing a turnabout, like, so...
What did Fiona say?
And Donkey's like, she's getting married, my dude. We gotta fucking go.
And Donkey's like, aha, I have the perfect thing.
Just like, be my new girlfriend. She's a dragon.
With her new collar that she won't take off.
Uh-huh.
Haven't installed seatbelts yet.
And it's just like, how does Donkey stay on? Donkey has nothing to grab onto and no way to do it even if he did.
I have very non-PG questions about the relationship between Donkey and this dragon.
Yes, so do I.
Because...
And I'm like, and I don't know if I want any of them answered, to be honest.
I know, because like that size difference...
Uh-huh.
I don't know, man.
I like how the audience is like a studio audience and they have cue cards on how they're supposed to react. And Fiona's like, can we just skip this and go straight to the ideas? Like, I don't... Fiona, like, sun is setting, like, the day is going.
Fiona's the Prince Humperdinck of this version. Just man and wife! Say man and wife!
And Donkey's like, you can't just run in there and interrupt a wedding. You can't just interrupt a wedding at any moment. You have to do it at the I object moment only. Little bananas.
I love how they're screaming in front of the doors.
Uh-huh. And, like, nobody's noticing. Nobody noticed the giant fucking dragon landing. And also, do you notice the massive multi-story tall statues of Farquaad that are in this church?
Yep.
The stained glass all has his image in it.
Wow. It's hard being alive when no one wants you.
And, like, Shrek's like, you can't marry him. And she's like, and why the hell can't I? It's like, you've been nothing but a jerk, so there's clearly no reason not to marry him. And then, like, Farquaad's making fun of Shrek for the fact that he fell in love with Fiona. Oh,
you're all just so mean.
They are.
And the sun is setting. Come on.
Yep. And Fiona's like, well, this is kind of like perfect timing, to be honest with you.
So
And
here
now
we
she's all
are.
sparkly and glowing.
Ogre. And the women just faint.
Was she wearing a veil before? I don't think she was
so.
wearing a veil before. Somehow the magical transformation included a veil. And Farquaad doesn't really care. He's just more concerned about the fact that now he's actually king.
He has to marry a princess to become a king.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Fiona, you took on a bunch of other bandits that were more than the 4 holding you.
Yeah. And it's just like, you can't take out the 3 dudes that are, like, holding you now as an ogre.
I'm your king! Dragon through
like,
the
you will have a dragon. It's like, I'll have order and perfection. It's like, you will have a dragon.
Literally just ate Lord Farquaad.
Yep, and nobody's mad about it either. I wonder who takes over leadership of Duloc with Farquaad gone.
I was just thinking that, because I'm like, with no ruler and no heir, who's next in line?
Yeah, like, does Farquaad have siblings? Like,
God, I hope not.
Oh god, yeah, right.
Watch them all be normal height.
Right. And normal people. I feel like Farquaad would be one of those people who, like, would have had, like, any other potential successors to the throne assassinated, you know? Like, that way it just minimizes the risk that, like, somebody else vies for the throne.
Now you're gonna take love's true form, and that is an ogre.
An ogre.
Because you fell in love as an ogre with an ogre.
With an ogre. That's a lot of magic mumbo jumbo lights. I mean, like, just for literally nothing about her to change. How awkward would it be if she turned back into a person and then just the general size difference between the two of them? Like, there was a point when they were in the woods and Shrek just put his hand on her head and it was like covering most of her head when she was human. And then after True Love's Kiss, we have another round of absolutely fantastic music. The Shrek movies just have the best music.
They do.
The absolute best music. Did you hear rumors that they want to make another Shrek movie? I hope they do.
No,
I want another one. I want another one.
Fine.
Cinderella and Snow White, however, were at Fiona's wedding. So, like, because they're in the 3rd movie when she goes back to Far, Far Away and this time, like, sees, like, her family and stuff like that. Oh. But this time with other princesses. So, like, Cinderella and Snow White cannot be surprised that she's an ogre because they were at her wedding. Like, her parents weren't at her wedding. But Snow White and Cinderella, who have castles down the street from her, were at her wedding. Just like, where were the parents?
All right, Eddie Murphy, we need you to sing. Give it your best.
I wonder if they told him that before. Like, they like, when he was auditioning, it's like, just so you're aware, there's a couple of songs you're going to have to sing for this. Are you good with that? Just be like, All right, Ani, Shrek. Opinions?
Again, I haven't seen this movie in a very long time, and I wasn't part of the Shrek craze growing up. I thought they were all right, but as an adult, I generally love the appeal of it.
Yes. I love the Shrek movies. They've always been some of my favorite movies of all time. They will continue to be some of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I think the Shrek franchise is easily within, like, the top 10 of, like, my movies. I could watch them just, like, over and over again and just wouldn't bother me. Maybe not so much, like, the later ones, but, like, Shrek 1 and 2 and then Puss in Boots, absolutely. You could just put them on a loop and I would just be perfectly happy. So,
it's fair.
I love the Shrek movies. I love that, like, Shrek is so popular, just, like, in like, pop culture and stuff like that. And you could just make Shrek references and memes and pretty much everybody understands what you're talking about. So, I love that. I love it. That's
you can walk to a completely random person and just go, "Do you know the Muffin Man?"
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man! Who lives on Drury
Lane?
The Muffin Man!
Yeah, and everybody's just going to know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly, they're going to do the whole spiel, and I'm like, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so good. I love this movie. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching it, and either whether you watched it growing up or you watched it later, but Shrek is easily just one of those movies that everybody should watch at some point.
It's an iconic film For
It
so
is
many
like
reasons.
you can't really be involved in pop culture anymore if you haven't seen at least the first Shrek movie.
Yeah.
Like you have to understand who Shrek is. I mean, it's a requirement. I love these movies. And yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode with us. Moving forward, you might find some different kind of content with us as we try out some new things. We're going to try out some new formats here pretty soon. In the meantime, please come stop by our Instagram at the Sorry Not Sorry Generation. And you can come talk to us. You can send us messages. You can send us.
You're allowed to DM us. We will message you if you're not weird. Weirder than we are.
Yeah, like weird in like the creepy, unfortunate way, because we have gotten some of those.
None of us are gonna give you our feet pics. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. So, but
say hi.
Yeah, you can come say hi. We are still collecting stories for Work Horror Stories 4. If you want to send us your stories, again, we can read it as
totally anonymous. It's totally fine.
Yeah, whether it's brand names, your names, whatever, we can do that for you. So we are collecting stories for that. So feel free to send us those. And as always, if you are on our Instagram, you can find our link tree. It has access to our YouTube, our other streaming platforms, our website, which has a lot of bonus content on it that you guys can go check out. And
which we need to update at some point.
Mm-hmm. Hasn't been updated in a while with episodes. But yeah, come check us out, guys, and come say hi. Come see some of the weird stuff that we post. We just wrapped up Armenian History Month, so you can come check out some Armenian. I was gonna say pop culture, but that's not true. You can well, like a little because we have the Armenian dating show. Yes. But you can come check out some of our content from Armenian History Month, as well as just some of the other reviews, games, trivias, and everything else that we've done.
Us being goofballs.
Us being
us.
Yeah, millennials. So come check us out. Come say hi. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye. Bye. Tune in next week for more fuckery because we have some serious questions and concerns.